In episode 7, The Messenger, we just got the biggest revelation of the entire Andor series so far. Diego Luna said that this series was going to completely change the way you looked at Cassian and his role in Rogue One, and wow, he really wasn't kidding. This is a bombshell. So grab your favourite beverage and settle in, and let's break down this crucial set of scenes. So this incredible revelation takes place over 3 scenes. In this first scene we see Cassian and Bix living in a treehouse on Yavin, and we see Cassian nursing a shoulder injury. Bix is clearly very concerned with Cassian's injury, but in true Cassian fashion, he just wants to brush it off and keep moving forward. In the second scene we learn that there's a Force healer working in the camp on Yavin. Cassian is deeply reluctant to get involved, and we get a bit of backstory saying that Marva was once scammed by a fake Force healer. And you may remember we saw this before in the Kenobi series. Bix says if there's nothing to it, what's the harm? Then we see the Force healer, who we'd later find out is actually a genuine Force user. She feels Cassian's presence. This moment is important because it tells us if she could detect Cassian's presence in a big crowd of people like this, he must have a strong presence in the Force. He tries to walk away, but she shocks him by telling him she knows where his wound is. She lays her hands upon him and begins her Force healing session, and strangely then says thank you to him. He's surprised. He says, thank you for what? She then replies, the clarity. I thought it had gone for good. She then says it's so easy to lose faith. It's clear here that even she had begun to doubt her own abilities, and connecting with Cassian has reaffirmed her belief in the Force. The fact that she felt Cassian's presence, and that she's had such a strong connection with him, she says to Cassian, surely you must feel it. Cassian is really spooked by this. He doesn't want to know, and he turns to walk away. I'll come back. Bix then engages with the healer. You saw something. Bix then says, you scared him, and that's not easy to do. The healer tells Bix that she could feel Cassian's pain, his fear, and his need. Given Cassian's background and history, it is of course to be expected he would be projecting these strong dark side emotions. But then the healer says something very important. She says there's a purpose to it. She then also says to Bix, he's a messenger. There's a place he needs to be. In a later scene we see Cassian and Bix again, and now he's rubbing his shoulder and he realises it's better and the Force healing has worked. Of course Cassian had walked away before the woman's revelation that he was a messenger and had a purpose in the Force, but even without knowing this revelation you can see he's deeply disturbed. Bix says to him, you're feeling so upset because you felt something, and then Bix says to him, let it in, it can only be good. Andor's charmed fate is mentioned again in episode 9 during this meeting between Andor and Luthen. I've mentioned on the channel before that I thought it was becoming somewhat improbable that one man just happened to be in the right place at the right time for all the key moments in the birth of the rebellion. Well, in this scene Luthen mentions exactly that. He runs through everything from the Aldani heist right up to the recent Gorman massacre. Cassian acknowledges this himself, and he says that's why he wanted out, because he feels he's pushed his luck far too often. I'm sure this will raise a lot of rumours again that people have had that Luthen may well be connected to the Force himself, especially considering he had that Kyber crystal in season 1. And of course there's the small matter that his shop is absolutely jam-packed with both Jedi and Sith artefacts. It's clear Bix really believed in this, and she mentions that she's been having dreams about Cassian and his destiny. He says it's just luck, but she knows it's more than that. She believes in it so strongly she's prepared to walk away from him and sacrifice their relationship for it. And if we head over to Rogue One, we see another situation where this retcon fits in really nicely. In the scene on Edu when Cassian is on his way to assassinate Galen Erso, the Force-sensitive Shirut can clearly feel his presence. In fact, he says that the Force moves darkly around those about to kill. I think this has been brilliant writing from Tony and his team. Typically seductive and subversive way of thinking about the Force. Cassian having a clear destiny in the Force, even though he's an unbeliever. Potentially Bix as well. Maybe even Luthen. We might find out more about that in the next few episodes. For me, this was an unexpected but very welcome revelation. Let me know what you thought about all of this in the comments. And until next time, here's my suggestions of what to watch next. And remember, look to the Force and you will always find me.